What's up? It's JEX. I'm sitting here with Note, Knowte.
Got the spelling down pat already.
Yeah, that's how we do it. It's my man. We're here today for a special little treat for you guys. This is going to be the post-Golden Child discussion podcast. What are we going to call it?
I say discussion, yeah, because it was a process from beginning to end. These days, that whole podcast sort of word has a weird connotation to it.
Absolutely.
It's a podcast, bros.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
yeah.
Because everybody does podcasts.
I know.
Is this really a podcast, or is this we're too happy about something that we made that we had to say it again?
Yeah, I would say that. I would say that.
Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely. So we're sitting here in El Barrista. We're in New York. What's the address? I'm probably gonna pin it in this video right above my finger. Post edit. There you go. I'm gonna tag their IG probably in the credits, or you're gonna tag their IGs in the credits because I'm gonna give this to you.
100%.
So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am what I would call a diverse creator. I do everything from video, photo, literature, promos, design. I've actually boosted my expertise last year doing one single project. Yes, I've got multiple hours. I mean, upwards of 60 hours in editing probably in one project. But we're gonna throw it to Mr. Note right now. Tell us who you are.
Yeah, so my name is Note, Knowte. I am an alternative hip hop artist. Been doing music for the past God knows how long, really. It started off in a coffee shop very similar to this, in a town, Lowell, Mass, and then just made my way into written music, and it's been performing my heart out for as long as I could remember. Was able to at a performance meet this guy right here through mutual friend, Saint Wave, and it's been nothing but just magic since. So when this Golden Child video idea came, I immediately had to go to you. You were the only person I could think of. So
thank you. Thank you. I mean, I'm a visionary, man. X marks the spot. That's a new saying now. X marks the spot. That's how it is.
Yeah.
You look at my intro, you're gonna know what I'm talking about.
No, I feel because the X, the X,
the spot. I do it all the time.
I see what you're doing.
Okay, so El Baristas, come down, man. Get something to drink. Get something to eat. I'm sporting today with a nice, I think, what do you say? This is like a Spanish and feta cheese type of, what would you call this?
I thought it was a quiche.
It's a quiche. Absolutely. I got a matcha latte. You know, you got to keep your body right, keep your mind right. Got to move every day, learn something new every day. You know, we have like a little saying around here, when the rolling stops is when it stops, you keep going.
Yo, you're just full of all the sayings and gems, aren't you?
I just put words together, and some people say, wow. Other people are like, you need to stop.
Over here, I just got, Lipton iced tea over here, chilling, literally.
Yeah, on ice.
Yeah, on ice. But let's get into it. Let's talk this video.
So the first thing everybody wants to know, what has been your influence for Golden Child? I mean, like, where did it start? A lot of people don't really get the aspect of creating a song.
Yeah.
Because with creation of a song, it's not only just the lyrics, but also it's the instrumentation.
Yep.
You know, you have to go with how you are as an artist. Some people like to tell stories. Some people like to be, I'm going to be like hypochondriacs. They're kind of like super over the place. There's a lot of people, a lot of different flows, a lot of different styles. But what started Golden Child for you?
Yeah, so I write from a place of life. I can't fake something. I can't fake a situation. I can't do any of those things. I write from a place of authenticity. Yep. And during that time, I just felt like I had the weight of the world on my shoulders. I felt like I needed to live up to a certain expectation. There was a lot of stuff going on in my personal life. However, there was other stuff going on in other people's personal lives that sort of overshadowed it. So I wasn't allowed the opportunity to speak on what was going on at that time. So I just had to stomach it and be that golden light for, you know, my family and not let them know what was going on at that time. But with that weight can come some, you know, turmoil. Eventually the aches start to set in.
Absolutely.
And music was always that outlet for me. And essentially this record came from an instrumental as I was sifting through instrumentals from Marty McFly from 9-2.
Shout out Marty.
Shout out Marty.
Shout out 922. I
Yo.
see you, Jimmy. I see all y'all. I see y'all.
If it wasn't for that, if he didn't hit up the group chat we had going, he's like, yo, I just put in some fresh beats, stuff like that. I jumped in and something about it just spoke to me. I was looking for a record that I was able to unload. You know,
kind of like get something off your chest.
Exactly,
like
exactly.
That's probably one of the purest forms of art is expression. Well, let's say more of a not theoretical, but a theatrical expression. Like when I listen to a record, I really want to like be in that spot.
You want to feel it.
Yeah, when you get mesmerized.
It.
It's something where you're putting headphones on and then 3.5 minutes later, depending on the length of the song, you're taking them off and you're like, you're back. You know, it's like
you entered a whole
up.
New world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't know how you got there. It's like when you go to sleep.
Yeah.
You never really remember the beginning or the end of a dream, but you remember just being in the dream. It's just
you
like
remember
a
the feeling
Exactly.
of it, and that was sort of what I wanted to say in this record. So the instrumental came, I started writing it, and I was actually extremely nervous about this record. I struggle with being authentic in my music. I tend to hide behind metaphors like most artists do. It's hard to tell your whole truth on something that people are going to digest and possibly either ridicule, or even the fact that I was talking about living up to an expectation that's obviously family centered. I was worried about how my family was going to feel about it. But I felt as though it was important for me at that time to document what was going on, because there's a lot of people in my situation who feel like they're unable to fail. Who feel like they have to carry all that weight, all that stress, all that, be the beacon when others aren't being able to be the beacon for you and break any generational curses. It's a lot of weight. So I felt as though it was important to share it. And yeah, when I wrote it, I put it out. Actually, I first started performing it at open mics similar to venues like this. And it spoke to people. It made me believe in it. I wasn't about to release it, but something told me to do it after performing it. It spoke to people and people felt heard. So I was like, I need to continue to push this because I wrote it with a vision. I wrote it visually. So I was just waiting for the right videographer to come into place. And now here we're at. Actually, it was a Saint Wave show. Saint Wave and Griffey.
Yeah, it was Saint Wave and Griffey.
Yep.
It wasn't at Stella's. It was at it wasn't Stella Blues in New Haven. Shout out Stella Blues in New Haven.
Yep.
But it wasn't at Stella's. It was at some other. It was in New York, I think.
It was in New York. It
wasn't Mercury.
It was Pianos.
Was it Pianos? Maybe.
No, it's the Bowery Electric. It was the Bowery.
Oh,
it was the Bowery.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah.
But no, I remember that night vividly because someone was performing. This was like a 5-minute type of, let's say a 5-minute space between, I don't know if it was Griffey or if it was Saint, but someone just went on. We went into the back to get a drink, non-alcoholic, you know, keep your body right, keep your mind right. But, and then you kind of dragged me to the side and you're like, hey, I got this idea for, a song I already have out. And I was like, okay, so what's the idea? And you ever have that feeling when something clicks? That's exactly how I felt.
Yeah.
Because I think I had a moment in recording that concert where it was like, I kind of want to step it up a little bit. I need a challenge, because if I do the same thing 3 times, it becomes boring to me. I like to really push the envelope, as you've seen with the many revisions of Golden Child that we're not going to talk about right now. That's just later in the show. Yeah. But you came to me with this idea and I was just like, I was stunned. Yeah. From the beginning, it was like Golden Child. I'm like, okay, in my head, I'm raffling off what a Golden Child is. We all know it's that, kind of loner, he may be an introvert, but has like extrovert type of like trait sets when it's needed, you know. But you hold a weight that nobody else wants to acknowledge, because I feel like if they acknowledge it to make it real, and if they make it real, they got to actually react to you.
Do something about it.
And if they react to you, that means they need to not force it, but they need to make room for, let's say, the energy to actually put into, okay, because if you really think about it, everything that's been big or everything that requires attention requires like attention. Like when I say attention, I mean deliberate, like conscious. Where did this come from? Where is it now? And how do we solve it? How do we put it somewhere else? How do we get back from the universe what we're spilling?
Yeah.
Right? So we're like 10 minutes into this conversation. I think I just stopped it. I was just like, let's go.
Yeah.
I was like, just let's go. When are we going to do this?
Yeah. And like, it was just cool because I had a very, very ambitious idea. Probably one of the most ambitious ideas that I've had in a video. Period. Yeah. I didn't even know if it was possible. Anything's possible, you know. But
anything's possible when you go to JEX. Just know that.
I didn't even know if it was possible, but I knew the right person when I saw them.
Absolutely.
So I just started rattling off ideas, and one of the biggest ideas that we had at the time was CGI.
Oh my
we wanted to CGI myself as a golden bust, you know, golden child and that sort of thing. And we just threw things at the wall.
This is putting on paper. Like we put so many ideas on paper, guys.
Months.
We had treatments, and I say treatments because usually when you do a treatment or when you do something for a video along as like a shooting board or a script board, you're putting, depending on how sophisticated you want to be. I'm more of I can think in images, but I can also think in words. So when I do script boards or when I do shooting boards or treatments, whatever you want to call it, I usually put just short sentences, one sentence, and then like a picture maybe for a reference. And I assume that people of my magnitude can understand it as well.
Your magnitude?
Yeah.
Because they gotta be on your level?
Yeah, it's hard because like I'll say 3 words, and the 3 words to me, it's a complete paragraph, and I'll show one picture, and the picture is an entire movie scene to me. I get it. A lot of people don't get it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of drafts, and there's a lot of changes in this treatment because we had to figure out, one, budgeting.
Yes.
Budgeting was a huge thing in this project. Let's say utilization of what we had, which goes with budgeting, but kind of bounces off of, all right, this doesn't meet a financial thread, but this does hit somewhere where we have to be conscious of how much time we're spending, the products we're buying, the products we're making. I mean, everything on the set you see is literally handmade.
Yeah.
All like the 3-walled. Should I drop a little bit of knowledge on how
do
and where
do it.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna put something inside of this video that's gonna show the blueprints to the place we filmed, but it was a rectangle room, and the rectangle room had 2 sides. One side was a green screen, one side was a white screen. So the 3-walled white screen, we put up homemade art from our friends like Michelle and like Rena and Jules. Yeah. So we had a lot of stuff. I had a mystery painting in there. It was like an African like chalk ink type of charcoal.
Legit, all the art you see in this video was donated by real artists. Yeah. Like, we didn't go out and buy for 2 reasons. 1, budgeting, you know, but 2, like, art breeds art. Absolutely. You know, and so
it's like friendly competition.
Exactly. And so I didn't want to promo art from somebody I don't even know. I wanted to grab my neighbors, you know, and put them on.
All
so
friends. All friends, all families, all love. We really tried to do it. Like, I made stuff with the Cricut, like plaques.
The Cricut.
Literally, I'm using the Cricut. I'm making plaques.
Those plaques came out good too.
Yeah, they were freaking fire.
Yeah.
You know, there's some improvements. I would make improvements the next time around. Yeah. They, Note and Aria made the podium, the like display case podium thing that you see him inside.
Legit.
He made it.
Legit.
Like he made it.
This was a hassle. I won't lie.
Dude,
like,
it was so crazy.
You know, we straight up, we Googled craziness. The podiums were like a couple $100 each, depending on what we wanted. Some upwards to, you know, a K.
The display boxes itself, because you had to put the display on,
and you had to get a display box as well. So what we did was that we went to Home Depot. We measured out kind of the sizing that we wanted.
Yep.
And we had them just chop up wood, and we just spent a week, an hour, at a time, or 20 minutes at a time, just slowly building this thing.
Absolutely.
Aria painted it. We drilled it together.
Yep.
And then we got, clear glass pieces. They weren't glass, but they gave the illusion of glass pieces that we just pushed together. So it was a at-home effort.
Absolutely.
That came out so cool. Like, I remember people, when they saw it, even on the video,
Yep.
they were like, "You didn't buy this thing?" No. It was made at home.
Everything. If you really want it, you're gonna get it.
100%.
Literally, if you really want it, you're gonna get it. There's no excuses. If you fiend for it, if you wake up, are you hungry enough? You're gonna find food. That's all I got for you.
Yeah.
If you're hungry enough, you're gonna find food. That's how we survive. And especially as artists, if we're not doing something artistic, what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of self-manipulate.
Yes.
And that's the hardest thing, is when you're not pushing your potential, you become underwhelmed. You may feel overwhelmed, but you may be underwhelmed. You might have to actually either push yourself out of another zone, another category. You might have to actually just flip the script. I was telling you the other day, what did I say? Consistency also needs inconsistency, or something along that line.
Along that effect.
Yeah, so it's like moderation.
It was about moderation.
That's what
On
it
the
was.
topic of moderation.
For moderation, you also need the lack of moderation, because everything needs the opposite of it.
Balance.
Light needs darkness. Sound needs the absence of sound. Everything is just that. It's duality.
100%. And the biggest key, like, while we're on that topic, the biggest key for any artist is learn other skills. Be willing to learn other skills.
Be a student.
Legit.
Be a student.
Legit.
Do your research. Take the time. Put in the hours.
Yeah.
If you really listen, if you really want to learn, you're gonna learn. Learn how you learn. I don't know if anybody's ever said that.
Learn how you learn.
Learn how you learn. I had to learn how I learned. How do I learn? Artistically, through theater, through music.
Yeah.
I learned. That's the way I learned.
That not to go off for a second, but this is kind of what it's all about.
Yeah.
That is such a powerful thing to say. Learn how you learn.
Learn how you learn.
If you know how you interpret information, you can learn anything.
Absolutely.
And so, like, on that vein of hunger, like, all I knew is I wanted a podium.
Yep.
So we were gonna make that podium.
Absolutely.
Did not matter how long it take, did not matter what needed to happen. And now I know I can make set pieces. Now that's a skill I have, that no matter what video we work on next,
Absolutely.
I know for a fact if we need a cool set piece, got it. Heading to Home Depot, gonna make it happen.
Absolutely.
So
That's all the experience. Experience, it's just like, a lot of people will tell you, practice makes perfect, dismantle that. You got to dismantle the practice makes perfect. You got to really say practice makes progression, because once you get to a little zone inside of, let's say, repetition, it becomes second nature, and the second nature actually pushes you to mastery. It's the 10,000 hours, something along that lines.
Yeah.
I don't want to push it into that realm because I can quote that, kind of book all day.
Yeah.
But you find it evident. The more you do something, the more it's going to either affect or it's going to benefit you.
Yeah, so on that line, let's kind of talk about kind of the growth process that took place once the inception happened.
Yep.
So once the idea was out there, I don't think people realize, it takes months to make something like that happen.
And we're not even up to filming.
Yeah,
we're
legit.
still on
We're
the topic.
in the planning phase.
This is still treatment.
So I shot him the idea. He sent me legit next day. This man's crazy. Next day,
12
whole
hours.
script, different ideas, some even location ideas and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, so he gets the vision right away.
Absolutely.
From there, how many meetings did we have?
Weekly.
Weekly.
We had
for
weekly meetings.
2 months straight.
Yeah, before the shoot and especially after the shoot. It was hard because I think since the treatment showed that the video was so heavy, there was a lot to expect, anticipate, plan for, execute,
Consider.
especially, oh my gosh, there are so many little pieces that came together beautifully.
Yeah.
But it was now the day of the shoot. We've had weeks in weeks for, conversations. Once a week we'd jump on Zoom and have like a 2-3 hour conversation.
Yep.
And
Casting.
then, having the email sent out, having the script boards and the treatments made. Us three, Javon, Aria, we really put hours, like every single day. We're almost tapping in every single day, just saying, hey,
Pretty
I changed
much.
this, I did this.
Especially
hey, look at
once it
that.
came to week of, and especially when the idea changed just for budgeting reasons from
everything changed with the budget.
Legit from the CGI idea that off rip was going to be like $5,000.
Yep. That was the edit.
That was it. So then we had to come up with a new idea, which completely restructured everything, and that was happening like a couple weeks before like the day we were gonna shoot.
Absolutely.
So like we're restructuring, we're casting, some people are dropping off, some people are hopping in last minute, trying to grab all the last minute details. Like it was a lot to get to the day of.
Absolutely.
But we finally get to the day of and things come together, but there's a lot that happens day of that you can't really prepare for.
No, day of was how good can you work on the tip of your toes?
Yep.
It was like walking on glass, honestly, because there was a lot of things that could go wrong, that should have gone wrong, that didn't go wrong.
And there were some that
did go wrong.
Yes.
There were things that did go wrong. The biggest thing on my part, I made flyers. I made literal. I'm gonna put them. I'm probably gonna put like a picture.
You gotta
put.
Yes.
I'm gonna put a picture somewhere in here. You're gonna show. The entire flyer was done. I mean, like it was designed digitally. It had like an aspect in it that really showcased mystery. It tied in the silk that was going to cover the display case for the video. Like there were so many elements that were just simply in this just little.
It was a nice story beat.
It was everything right there, and I didn't get it done.
Not to throw more shade. You also forgot the tickets.
I forgot the tickets too, bro.
So you're lucky. I came in prepared like I always do with my business cards. So I had these legit freshly made, I honestly think like a couple weeks prior. So these weren't even supposed to happen. But luckily I brought them
and
because
it was perfect.
On the spot, and this is the point where I think we're trying to get across is there are things that ideally you want to have happen, but things aren't always going to go according to plan.
No.
And you have to be willing to adapt. So the second he looked at me, he didn't really have to answer to me too much, even though I was the guy that was,
had to answer to Aria.
He had to answer to Aria. So he looked at me, he was like, yo, no, I forgot the flyers, I forgot the tickets, and I'm like, all right.
I pulled them to the side because I didn't want her to hear me.
But then I had to relay that. I was like, yo, he forgot the tickets, he forgot the. She immediately went to find him.
I ran. She ran. I was hiding behind Michelle, I think. I was like, Michelle, help me.
But yeah, you just learn to adapt. But like the thing is, on that was small potatoes to me.
Super small.
Was the thing that got me the most was the fact that it was pouring rain.
Yeah.
Legit.
It was
pouring rain that day.
And we had paintings, we had pictures to bring it.
People traveling from, across the tri-state, just trying to be there and contribute to this amazing moment, and they're getting poured on. So the second that I saw it was gonna rain, I was like, yo, people are gonna fall out. Some people might not be able to bring their artworks or their paintings. How am I gonna get all this equipment into the venue, because it was our first time seeing that venue. It was a hassle from top to bottom, but the part that I loved was that people made a commitment. They made a commitment to be there, and it didn't matter. They wanted to be there. They wanted to contribute to a special moment. So I guess I would take this time just to say thank you to everyone that was involved, that dealt with the chaos, that dealt with the madness, not only from the planning phase and all the emails that you saw, but the day of where it's pouring rain and you all still showed through. It's a team effort.
We really appreciate you, everybody.
100%.
I want to call everybody out, but I don't think on the top of my head I know everybody's name. But
Their tags will be dropping
their
here
tags will be
somewhere.
there. I mean, from like Key, Brandon, Dylan, Rena, Jules, Michelle, Aria, myself. That's literally.
I honestly think you just named
everybody
everyone. You
off
were
the
like, nah,
top.
I don't know anyone off the top of my head.
I
Names
had
the
to
whole
recall
list.
it. I mean, the brain works like that. It works when it wants to work, you know. But there was a lot of commotion when it came to shooting, but it was very much a fun experience because I feel like people got out of their shell. We had
100%.
And we had artists we had actors being actors, obviously, you know, guards, Dylan and Brendan, obviously,
Brendan.
Brendan's a curator. He was freaking phenomenal. Dylan being the guard, he was
perfect for the guard.
He was hilarious for the guard.
I loved how much he ad-libbed. My favorite shot to this day is still when he went like,
oh yeah, he like pushed Key out the way and just like squeak, squeak, squeak.
yeah,
we're gonna put that in there.
Like that shot was beautiful. We had a loose script.
Yeah,
we had a loose script.
Honestly,
it was all
impromptu.
improv. We said, overall, this is what we want to see, but we trust you guys. Of course, when that day came, directors had guidance.
Yep.
But the thing is, we left it very open-ended to allow that freedom of expression.
Yep.
And for a lot of people, it was their first time on camera. It was their first time acting. Like Rena, still to this day, surprised me.
Dude,
when she at the
Rena's
end,
shots, come on, dude.
when she at the end said, "This is
on.
my first time acting," I was like,
Crazy.
"You're lying.
That's
You're
crazy.
lying. You're legit lying. I do not believe you." You know, V, her time coming out, like amazing as well.
Yep.
Because I
V
think
was
that
crazy.
I think that was also her first time coming out and acting. Jules, wherever you're at these days, I know we got it. We had our 9 to 5, and then the office
We see
imploded.
you. We see you.
But you know, Jules came through, especially on his artwork.
Yeah.
His artwork, like the sort
Really
of
good.
graffiti style sort
Super
of thing,
clean.
street style.
Super clean.
It brought a whole new aspect to the video. But yeah, we wanted to make sure everyone's personality showed through. So we gave a very, very loose script.
Yep.
We had, I think 3 hours booked?
Three
Or
or
four. It was
Yeah.
4. It was 4. The thing we didn't account for, which I'm just gonna drop it in there for anyone and for me to put on record so that if I watch this video in the future, I know what I said then and I should live to it.
Absolutely.
And that is, if you think you need 4 hours,
You need
add
like
a fifth.
6.
Or a 6.
You need like 6.
If you think I can get away with X amount, add at least 2 extra hours. I did not account for that, so we were very strict on time. I think we got a lot of what we needed, and I think that we, you know, shot something incredibly phenomenal. However, it was a time crunch experience because we're setting up. We thought setup was going to take an hour. You know, people, you know, run late. The rain, and then we had to figure out where did we want the podium,
Yeah, we had to do
how to mount everything. Like
we had to set up a whole room.
we had to set up a whole room.
Like a whole room.
And then set up lighting and
Yep.
gear and all those things.
Yep.
It took more than an hour. It took almost 2, especially when you're factoring all the troubleshooting that took place and some people having to do, you know, hair and makeup once they got there.
Absolutely.
So what was supposed to be 3 hours of shooting immediately turned to 2 hours of shooting.
Yep.
And that might sound like a lot of time, but
not.
in set time, that is nothing.
It's nothing.
That is nothing because you have to consider the different breakdowns you got to do between shots.
Yep.
And
Coordinating with people. Giving people not really like where they're supposed to be, but just telling people, hey, listen, we're going to start right here. I need you to do this. Then you can go over here and you can venture to this part.
different takes.
Don't look in the camera.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. Like don't be in a spot where there's either a background which is not pleasing. Direct your attention. There's a lot of on the spot things where it's like, ooh, I like how you guys were just talking next to that painting. Can you do that again? And that doesn't take 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That takes like, I need to stop the clip. I need to position when put them in position. I need to start the clip. I need to do my gradual 10 seconds. For anybody that is a videographer, this is one of the biggest tips. If you hold a shot for 10 seconds, the amount of, let's say, usage you get from that shot expands, because in that 10 seconds you can, one, make it real, off the bat, easy. You could pop that up. Take it on your phone. 10 solid seconds of a good like piece of a corner, a good action shot, even just like an environmental shot. 10 seconds, always rule of thumb. So I got to do that. I got to put them in place. I got to ask them if they can do that again. You know, look at the painting, talk about it. I have to move out the way. I have to make sure that, you know, the co-director, like Aria, like she was following me when I had the camera on the gimbal. So I had to make sure I'm not tripping over her moving backwards.
And you got to review the shots too.
Absolutely.
Like,
you got to do it twice to 3 times.
Yeah.
Like this isn't a 10 seconds of actual like good shot placement and filming. That takes like 2 to 10 minutes. Literally 2 to 10 minutes. Each time. And I have to do it 2 to 3 times. This 2-hour shooting, it's not a lot of time.
It's not.
It's not. A lot of people do it better. A lot of people do it faster. That's how I work.
It comes down to your style of video.
Absolutely.
We knew we wanted this to be a movie from front to end.
Yeah.
We had a story arc we wanted to share. This wasn't a generic, you know, let's just head to a cool spot and let's party.
No.
You know, like this was, there needed to be story beats.
Yeah.
There needed to be emotion told.
Absolutely.
You know, so we would do the takes multiple times because we wanted to make sure that emotion was conveyed.
Yeah.
So this wasn't your average shoot by any stretch of the imagination. So 2 hours wasn't enough time. And we actually ended up having to come back for my shots.
Absolutely.
And you know, you got to make sure you take care of your people.
You do.
So we had to make sure there was room for eating.
Yep.
So made sure we got them food, but we planned for me to do my shots in those 4 hours.
Yeah.
Because the layout was, I think you talked about it earlier. We had the white wall, which was gonna be our art area, and then we had the green screen, which was gonna be where I was gonna do my performance shots, and then you would shrink me down in post, and I would end up sitting in the podium. That was also supposed to be done same day.
Yep.
That did not end up happening, and so we had to come back. A week or 2 later or something like
and
that.
we had to do the rest, same time slot and everything, just to do green screen.
Yep.
So that was one of the biggest things, was the use of space.
Yeah.
Really use your space right. And we would have hit more like little inconveniences if we didn't map out the entire video. It's
100%.
very important to map out your videos. Know where you want to be, where your camera wants to be, know your transition spots. Even if it's impromptu, know exactly what you can and can't use, and try to stick to a timeline.
Yes.
Literally try to stick. You're going to make your life a lot easier in post. It's going to be fluent. It's going to be like puzzle pieces. I knew from putting it into Adobe Premiere, the first clip goes first, the last clip goes last. I put every single clip inside the timeline, and I just snipped away. Snip, 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 snip. My life was so much easier when it came to editing. I thought, what happened?
Yo, wait, hold on. What did happen?
Bro, the editing, I think the
you
editing... You
gotta tell me, because you were in the trenches, bro.
I was deep. I think because I was using every single piece of footage. Like I said, I put everything in the timeline and I just cut. We
had, almost 6 hours worth of footage because
between both spots.
Yeah.
Cut. It killed me because it was a fight. Because I had to fight myself from, I'm doing a little bit of I'm deleting the green screen behind them, and I'm putting you in the podium for the first time, and then I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, now I gotta account for shadows. Spent some time doing shadows.
This dude went nuts on every single detail.
For the glassiness, I need to make him look like he's behind this piece of glass. So now I gotta put a little special effect on a piece of a piece of crystal that I gotta put down the opacity and blend mode into screens, and then I gotta fix it around the square, and then I gotta stabilize it in that 4-way that channel right where dude, I was doing so much.
Legit.
And that's the thing. It was timeline, biggest pieces to the smallest pieces. I think that was the thing.
Yeah,
that was the thing.
So do you think, from an editor's perspective, was it more advantageous to have more to work with, or if you had more targeted shots, would it have been easier for you? Because let's be real, so we met and talked about this thing, I think in like February, March.
Yes.
And then we finally shot it June, July.
Yep.
And then we finally finished the edit December.
Yes. Absolutely.
So
it's about 5-6 months of editing.
Exactly. And so do you think having more to work with made that editing process easier or harder? Because you said that you tossed things in a timeline, but then you had a subtractive edit.
Yeah.
Was that more difficult?
I would think, to me, in the way I edit and the way I create, just opinion based, I would rather have more in my arsenal. Mm-hmm. So I have more, I can favor, I can play things in my favor. Mm-hmm. Like there was a couple shots where we did the scenes 2 or 3 times, and I would check shot 1, then I would check shot 2, then I would check shot 3, then shot 1 again, then shot 1 versus shot 3. And I think it was to my advantage to see every single one of those, because I can pick out what is the best between the 3, which was important to me. Because there was the first scene of pushing out from the crowd, which would be the the ongoers, the patrons. When I'm like kind of like pushing in, was I pushing in? I think I was pushing in. Yeah, I was pushing in.
You pushing in,
and I see Key and I see all them. There was 3 shots of that, and the 3 shots, one was in, one was out, one was in. The one I used actually was reversed.
You reversed that?
Yeah, I reversed it. So that was a pulling out shot. I reversed it.
Okay, see, this is stuff I didn't know.
Yeah, I reversed that because
I'm learning this stuff about the video within this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was because there was a focus that didn't get killed between people's faces. Now, when I was doing the other shots, when I was pushing in, I was aimed at their faces, but there was a lot of auto adjustment with my camera. So I'd see, Key's face, and then it'll go to the person behind her, but it would grab their shoulder more than their face. And I was like, I didn't like that because I could see it.
Yeah.
I could see it.
You knew it was there.
Yeah, not a lot of people would know. Like, you didn't know I reversed it.
No, I had no idea.
So that one was the best.
I watched that video 1,000 different times during the entire 6-month process of editing and multiple edits.
Absolutely.
So the fact that I didn't even pick up on that's pretty tight.
Yeah.
That's pretty tight.
It was just the things that changed during the edit. And that's where that you can't account for everything comes from. Be as structured as possible. Have a timeline. Have a shooting board. Have everything.
Plan.
Have a plan. Even have transition spots. I had transition spots. I knew exactly when Dylan was wiping the.
You knew you wanted to use it.
I needed that for the next shot. I knew going behind someone, I could push that into another shot. I knew looking at the gold frame would tell me that I can either end the shot looking away from the gold frame or start the shot with a gold frame. So V was the person that I used for a reference I'm going to put it in this video. You kind of like see me behind the case and the case is still covered. And then I forget who's in this scene, but then you see V in the background. She's looking at the gold frame, but she kind of like turns towards me. And I use that to push into the gold frame solo. There was little things like that I really had to play off of.
Yeah.
And it was telling a story because the first thing you see in the gold screens were his baby videos. These are all homemade videos. Like, shout out to Mama Note.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mama Note.
Shout out to Mama Note, Dad
Papa
Note,
Note,
Papa Note. Legit, because that was all home videos from like 1990 something to 2000 something. Just like, I wanted to convey that story of how the Golden Child came to be. And so I sent him those videos. They dug it up, digitized it, like the whole 9. I was very thankful for it. I sent him those videos knowing I wanted it in the gold frame. And he did wonders with them because I sent you a lot, but you grabbed the story beats that needed to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it was just cool to kind of have that family moment, and the fact that my family supported it and was willing to share this with the world. It just comes down to the fact it's a collaborative effort. Nothing happens without community.
Absolutely.
I knew for a fact that I know video, I know editing, I know those things. But the best skill you could have is knowing when somebody knows it better. And that is when I reached out to you, I knew you knew it better and could bring it to another phase. So we were pushing each other through the editing process.
Absolutely.
And you were using techniques I didn't even think about. Like, I kid you not, like, the part that still kills me to this day, that everyone talks about, by the way, every time I show them this video in person, is the reflection.
Oh,
The fact you did the reflection.
Yep.
Because that made it real.
Yeah, absolutely.
That made that small detail.
Yeah.
All of a sudden made it very real that this individual is behind this glass.
Yeah.
It's a detail that I did not think about.
Mm-hmm.
But when it was done, and if you take it out of the video, it changes everything.
It's not the same.
It changes everything.
You lose the immersion.
Mm-hmm.
Those little details, you really, if you pay attention and if you can be real creative, those little pieces, they really set the like immersion standard. Boom. Without the reflection, there would be no sense in actually me putting the camera inside the podium on a, wireless controlled gimbal. Mm-hmm. There wouldn't be any sense of me doing that. Mm-hmm. I knew that there had to be a POV, an angle, a depth, an aspect that complemented as many sides of this video as possible. Mm-hmm. Because 1, I wanted to show the environment, 2, the people, 3, the scenes or the situation we're in, and 4, I wanted to show the character.
Yeah.
Because this is the golden child. So like the golden child has to be spick and span. He has to be luxury and, let's say, clean together. He has to hold this burden. He's trapped within his own person. So his self is a container, which is kind of represented by the display box and the podium. And now the podium itself is you're on a higher standard than everybody else. Mm-hmm. But you see the reality behind the weight of the golden child when you're seeing, 1, his POV, which if you're using angles, this is very crucial. POV, you can see everybody's either kind of looking at him or looking down to him. You're seeing this unwilling power that is just cascading and washing over him. He is a prisoner of his audience, whether it be his family, his critics, or anything. You're a prisoner of this, like,
you're giving me chills,
everything, man.
You're giving me chills,
and that's how I wanted to show it. I wanted to show everybody that there is a meaning in every single frame. Every frame you see has a meaning.
It matters.
It just matters.
There was not a single frame in there that wasn't crucial.
Absolutely. Even like shit that I improvised. There was a scene where he was inside of the glass and he was kind of like in his beginning stages of being inside the glass where the red velvet silk was kind of still over you. Yeah. And you're jumping into paranoia stages. That's what I wanted to show people. You're still paranoid, but you still gotta get up and you gotta
go
face the audience.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
You gotta live up to the expectation that's being placed on you. The show must go on.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You gotta eat all that.
Yeah.
Everything you're feeling, you gotta eat it. The insecurities of being in front of all those people, you got to eat it. Mm-hmm. To perform in front, you got to eat it.
You got to eat it.
I mean, to have the weight of your family and breaking curses, you got to eat it.
You got to eat it.
Sometimes it's just life is like that, man.
Yeah. No, the show must go on. And this is something that's sort of hitting me now as we're talking about it. Life doesn't stop. Mm-hmm. And so you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. Take time for yourself. I completely agree with that.
Absolutely.
Take time so that you can be the best version of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. I will always go back to that. And that has kind of been the motto of this year. You can't pour from an empty cup. So take care of yourself, but don't forget that you do need to move forward at some point.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of what this was conveying, that although there's all this weight, although there are all these things, the show must go on.
Absolutely.
You must continue to live up to your own expectation, not necessarily theirs, but your own expectation.
And that shit can be hard.
It can be hard. It can be real hard. But the reception of that emotion has been really beautiful.
Absolutely.
when we released the video, the amount of people that hit me up saying how much it was cinematic, like people loved the cinematic aspect of it. They felt like they were watching a movie. It separated us.
Yeah.
It grew us as creators.
Yeah.
And it separated us from the pack because we shot something very cinematic and something very special.
Yeah.
And people resonated with it. It did actually bring my family together, which was a cool moment. We sat by, you know, I would say fireplace, but there's not a fireplace there. But we sat by the big TV in the living room on the big sprawled out couch. We just played it, and it was a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
It brought people together, and I hope it continues to do that. I hope art continues to just speak for the community.
Yeah.
And that's what this is about. That was the whole consensus of the video, and that's even why we're shooting this here in El Barrista, because it's all about community.
Yeah. And the one thing that I love that I've really been putting into use, that is the name of it. It is also the name of your project, is Trust the Process.
Let's go.
Trust the process. You literally have to trust the process. I am so sorry, but you have to be blind and still want to walk in the darkness. Literally, just do it. Just do it. Trust the process. Have a goal. Even if it's something outrageous, really, it's better to aim high and shoot rather than become a dull bullet.
And that's sort of the attitude we took towards this video. So if there's anything you take away from this whole long conversation, it's the fact that we shot for the moon. We threw everything at this, and over time, you learn what it's gonna actually grow into. Yeah. But at least you shot that high, because if you shoot here, you could have landed lower. Yeah. You know, so
and shoot then you get complacent. Sometimes you get complacent. You shoot and you hit it, and then you don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shoot for it all. But yeah, Golden Child, I'm very happy that we were able to pull this together. Thank you for all the hard work you put in.
Thank you.
Almost like 10 months worth of work, if we really count all the months.
Absolutely.
And just trust that you're going to be seeing a lot more from us. We're here at El Barrista in New York. Super happy to be here. And shout out to Emmanuel to allowing us to use this space.
Shout out Emmanuel.
Yeah,
I see you. I see you right now.
Black-owned business, supporting the community, has open mics. That's where I started. So the fact that I see open mics happen here, that breeds the next generation of artists. So continue to support art, continue to keep putting positive energy out there, and just continue to be you. Trust the process, and you got any last notes you want to give?
Listen, I look at life like a 100-story hotel. If you're on level 30, the people on level 15 not gonna know what you're talking about, but the people on level 45 already been what you've been through. Go on 45, stick to 13 or stick to 30, and then go back to 15, and then really pull people with you. The whole census of that thing is don't leave no one behind. You are in their spot. Where you are, do not get comfortable. Push forward, and really, the environment and the crowd that you keep will dictate exactly how you're going to end up. Keep positive people in your life, keep love in your life, keep creation in your life, keep any sense of therapy in your life. Just really, really live. We don't have another choice. We don't have another chance.
That's
we
right.
don't have nothing.
And stream Golden Child.
Listen, I worked too hard for y'all to not watch that video, all right? So I'm going to tell you this one time. The link below. Peace.
That's it. That's all she wrote. That was good. That was great. Yeah. That's okay.